Hey, everybody, I'm John Granato. That's Lance Zierlein. You can listen to us mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do so you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Hey, Lance, you were at the Combines last week. What did you think of Malik Willis?
I liked him. I thought Malik Willis had a good combine. I think his issues are not going to change, in shorts and the T-shirt. He's got some issues with consistency, accuracy, mechanics. They're not going to change in a T-shirt, but what you wanted to see was, the arm talent showed up. I heard he had some pretty good interviews with some teams. I thought he looked pretty good on the field. Pretty good. Not bad. I think it doesn't really change a lot for me. I think for me, he would be a back end of the first type of prospect, but I do think he's going to get drafted higher.
Yeah. So we've seen David Mulugheta, and now he's associated with Malik Willis here. We've seen David Mulugheta. We've seen Quincy Avery. We've seen the result of that here in Houston. Is that going to hurt Malik Willis at all, having that association? What with, Jalen Ramsey, he was a Mulugheta guy, and he made his way out. Deshaun Watson is making his way out. Are Mulugheta clients a little bit, are teams leery of them now?
I don't know. It hasn't really come up. I mean, I suppose that's a question to ask. It's a legitimate question to ask. I don't know that teams are right now thinking about when a player will want to try to leave after he signed a second contract. That's way down the road. But it is one of those things that if you have this happen too often, we know that Scott Boras, for example, there's been a reputation for a long time. You sure you want to draft a Scott Boras client? Because a signability issue come MLB draft or when you were trying to get a Scott Boras client to re-sign, you always thought it was going to be very difficult to deal with them. So, yeah, I don't know. It may end up becoming an issue in the future. I can't really speak to if it's an issue now. But if you develop a reputation, maybe that is an issue that people start to think of.
Well, I don't know. I mean, with Davis Mills, the Texans aren't taking him in the first round. If Malik Willis is still there in the second round, is there any chance the Texans, first of all, take a Malik Willis? Because I don't know that they're going to take a quarterback, first of all. But secondly, because he's a Mulugheta guy?
No, I mean, it ends your relationship only if you're ready to trade Davis Mills. As soon as you draft Malik Willis, everybody who's in Houston clamors for him to be the quarterback. Basically, you undermine any opportunity for Davis Mills to grow, have confidence. He immediately will become the most hated player in Houston through no fault of his own. And you basically, if you draft Malik Willis, for example, you are basically severing ties with Davis Mills. Yeah. In essence, you'd have to move him because no one would want him to play for the most part. They'd all want him out.
And listen, all things being equal, I think the Texans, and I can't blame them, they would avoid Mulugheta guys. If this guy is get close to this guy or they're on my draft board, you know what? He's a Mulugheta guy. I'm out.
Well, ask yourself this. If Deshaun Watson doesn't like ownership and thinks ownership and front office, because I know he thinks ownership is not good, well, then why would another David Mulugheta client, and I'm not saying Deshaun's wrong, by the way, but I would think another client is going to think the same thing. I mean, they're inclined to get the same information. So, that's one where I don't see the Texans. That's a hypothetical. It doesn't really matter to me because they're not going in that direction.
No, but any Mulugheta guy now. I mean, I don't know that the Texans would want to do it because if Deshaun thinks that, Mulugheta probably thinks that too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, that might be a concern with other prospects down the road. Yeah, you might look into that.
Well, speaking of perception, did you get a feeling that the Texans are more there's a better feeling about them with the transition from David Culley to Lovie Smith, that maybe more agents are likely to deal with the Texans now with Lovie in place?
Well, I think 100% people – it's not that the agents are more likely to deal with the Texans. It's that the Texans – look, agents are willing to deal with any team because teams have money. Every team has a certain amount of money to spend. Your money spends the same way anyone else's money spends, and their commission with their client is going to be the same no matter what team they go to. So, I don't think the head coach matters in terms of, a willingness to work with a team. I do think that from a reputation standpoint, there is no question that the Texans under Lovie Smith are a more respected team and a team that feels like a more normal team than what has been going on there off of Kirby over the last 2 years. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think the combination of Caserio and Lovie Both of those guys are respected in the league, and they're both hard workers, and they're both they actually should be in the places that they are, as opposed to the last 4 or 5 years here.
Yeah. Is that it? Just 4 or 5 felt like a decade.
Yeah.